let me just correct you. I don't think there is a banking crisis.
Okay.
There are vulnerabilities.
A few banks were in crisis
that we should have expected. And, let me say that we have lived through a long period of very low interest rates and ample liquidity, and then very quickly we moved into high interest rates and restricted liquidity. Of course, there would be vulnerabilities to be exposed. And what is positive is that action has been taken very swiftly when that happened.
So, Morgan, the headline of this software upgrade was that it unlocked $31 billion worth of Ether tokens. The worry was that we'd see investors rush to liquidate their holdings now that they had the option to withdraw tokens that up until last night had been staked on the blockchain for years. The concern was that a flood of supply would drag down the price. But the upgrade has actually had the exact opposite effect. The queue to put your money in and stake it in order to earn yield ranging from around 5 to 6% is a whole lot longer than the line to cash out. In the last 24 hours, crypto traders appear to have realized that they over-indexed on upgrade-related worries. There's been no substantial selling pressure, and instead we've seen Ether breach that key $2,000 price threshold. It's been outperforming Bitcoin up more than 6%.
When we talk about staking, what does that actually mean?
It means that you are essentially putting a cache of your Ether holdings up in order to say that I will be a validator on this network. I will help you confirm transactions. And as a reward for that, you're going to earn yield of 5 to 6%. And the case here, last year you got these bankrupt firms like Celsius Network that were promising 18% APR for not doing anything really. It was fake yield. But the argument is that in the crypto space, Ether staking is a pretty good place to park your cash.
Quickly, any chance this is a short squeeze?
Well, I think that a lot of the short bets were liquidated overnight. You've got Ether doing quite well right now. And I think the larger takeaway for a lot of investors is that we're probably going to see institutional money come into the space, which is what led the last bull run.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have the IMF says there is no banking crisis. But then she turns around and says the Fed was the cause of the banks failing. We know the Fed controls supply and demand. They put all this money out there, all this liquidity, and now they're taking it back. But we know it's all orchestrated. And guys, right now we have Ethereum pumping. But we know it's going to pull right back. And then on top of it, guys, once Janet Yellen and Congress approves this debt ceiling, we know liquidity is going to be shrinking even faster. And we know when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, the whales right now are moving it, not the retail investors. And we know they make money whether it's going up or down. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you.
But now technology like ChatGPT is being used to create ads, create new, custom, creative.
The future of advertising is here, thanks to generative artificial intelligence.
The models that are generated here are not real people. This is a fully AI-generated model.
Don't need to hire the model. You don't need to hire the cameraman.
That's what Scale AI offers marketing agencies and brands.
What do you make of Elon Musk and some others who say there should be a 6-month pause, or there should be a pause at all in terms of the advancement of this type of technology?
If we didn't have the adversaries we'd have, I would be very in favor of pausing this technology completely, but we do. And that's why pausing is just, you can't pause it because it's a structural advantage both for LLMs and algorithms. So leaving, getting algorithms and LLMs to work in a classified context is going to take very specialized, I could explain how it works, but the fact is this is going to be a bonanza for the U.S. economy.
How concerned are you about China right now?
Everyone's very concerned. I think we were in a conversation this morning where I referenced, when we started first talking about China and America, and I was saying that this was not going to end well. That was a controversial statement. Now it's consensus. America is fairly unified in its idea that, that China and people running China are not acting in a way we can accept. And I think the consensus, if I had to guess, in China is, we're never going to get this back on the rails with America, so we should up the aggression.
Kelly, a 21-year-old Air National Guardsman suspected of leaking troves of classified documents in recent years on some private social media channels has been taken into custody by law enforcement officials, according to officials who spoke to NBC News. That arrest happening in just the last hour, and we are expecting to hear from Attorney General Merrick Garland on the latest in this investigation and next steps for this case. The Department of Justice has had a criminal investigation ongoing into this leak, and the Pentagon is also reviewing the protocol around the dissemination of classified documents, as well as the national security implications of the documents that were released and in some cases altered. We'll bring you more as you have it, Kelly, but that is the latest for now. Back to you.
Kayla, I'm sure we'll find out more about this in due time, but I think there's a lot of questions about how someone in his position reportedly would get access to documents of such sensitivity.
Yes, he was reportedly serving in an intelligence wing of the Air National Guard in Massachusetts. He was reportedly arrested in Massachusetts at his home earlier this afternoon, Kelly. And certainly someone in that intelligence unit would have had access to some of this information. But one of the major questions that is arising now is, for how long did he have this access? In some cases, it was reported that that he had been disseminating some of this information for up to 2 years, meaning that he had been in possession of classified information at the age of 19. So certainly we need to learn more about exactly what his division did, what his role was, and how he came into possession of some of these incredibly sensitive documents.
And we want to turn now to a developing story. Police have made an arrest in the murder of Cash App founder Bob Lee. Mackenzie Sigalos has been following the story and joins us now with the latest. Mackenzie.
Hey, Tyler. So I've been in touch with officials in San Francisco. A city supervisor there confirming the arrest was made early this morning. Local San Francisco news outlets are reporting that police went to Emeryville, California. It's a suburb 15 minutes outside of San Francisco to arrest a man named Nima Momeni in the fatal stabbing of Bob Lee. Jail records show that the 38-year-old Momeni was booked on suspicion of murder at 9:19 a.m. today. Media reports and a LinkedIn profile indicate that the suspect is a tech entrepreneur in the Bay Area. Now, up until this morning, the narrative was that Lee's death was a product of San Francisco's spiraling crime problem. But media reports say that Lee apparently knew the suspect, and police believe the murder was not a random act, though they haven't offered further details as of yet. Police are holding a press conference in about an hour, and I will be monitoring that one. Tyler?
Do we have any knowledge or any hint of how these two may have been connected?
Well, they both were tech entrepreneurs in San Francisco. And part of what people found so devastating about Lee's death was the fact that he had just moved to Florida. He was back in town in San Francisco for a couple days just on business. And it really created this narrative in the last week that San Francisco was a lawless city, and now we're seeing a departure from that idea now that it seems that they knew each other.
He moved to Florida because he was concerned about safety or quality of life issues in San Francisco, or do we know?
Well, actually, his ex-wife spoke to another news platform and said that that was the exact opposite narrative, and she thought it was unfortunate that a lot of people were creating, this conversation around San Francisco's spiraling crime problem. And actually, if you look at the homicide rate, a chart against historic trends, it's well down from that, even though it's kind of come up in the last few years since the pandemic.
Interesting. Mackenzie.
And guys, it's not an industry that AI, the robots, algorithms, and drones are not going to take over. Now we see how they're going to take over ads. And just think about it, guys. AI taking over ads, and then on top of it, AI knows you better than you know yourself. And we have Palantir says, no, we don't need to pause. We don't need regulation. And if you're a part of my stock channel, you know I always talk about Palantir. Palantir is all government contracts. And guys, we know those cyber attacks are coming. And then we have the Pentagon documents leaked. And guys, we know these are the final steps to the movie coming to the climax. And we already know who's really leaking the documents. If you have my New World Order book, you understand. We know what the NWO did under the Clinton administration. And guys, we have Cash App Bob Lee suspect arrested. And guys, he was not living there. He was only visiting for a couple weeks. So guys, that let us know it was definitely a plan. And we know when it comes to a stab and attack, guys, your instinct kicks in. You're going to fight for your life. It's not like when someone pulls a gun out, you shoot you a couple times. A stabbing is totally different. unless it's someone who knows how to use it, a hired hand. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Crypto teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.